All right, welcome back to the party, pal. And we are here talking about season 2 of Supernatural on my road to the end. My friend, I hope I make it. So, season 2 picks up where the last season left off. There's been a car accident, and now they're all in a hospital. Except for Dean is in critical condition. He's actually in some sort of a coma. He's walking through the afterlife. And long story short, he meets a demon named a reaper named Tessa. Tries to convince him to just let it go, but he can't because he's a hunter and everything. And so, John Winchester, the dad, summons Yellow Eyes and makes a deal with Yellow Eyes to give his soul in exchange for Dean to still be alive. So, there's that. The dad dies. It's sad. They burn his body, but his soul goes to hell anyway, I think. And then we jump into the next episode where we introduce to the Harvell Roadhouse, where hunters come to hang out and drink, stuff like that. We meet Ellen Harvell and her daughter Jo, who has a past with John Winchester. He used to go hunting with her husband until her husband died. There was an incident. We find out like a couple things. One, first, we are told that John used the dad for bait, but we're told by a demon-possessed Sam later that it was a monster attack, and he was forced to shoot him, to put him out of his misery. So I don't know. And yes, Sam does get possessed by a demon in the episode Born Under a Bad Sign. It's Meg. I'm just saying. Again, this season has a little more of the story arc to it. Puts a little more of the lore into the storytelling. But it's another one of those, Monster of the Week formats. Mostly they fight clowns. Don't ask. They fight, Sam is afraid of clowns. They fight, who else is there? There's the Trickster. One episode is called Tall Tales, and we're introduced to the Trickster, who would be a recurring villain, even though he supposedly dies in this episode, but he's not. He's played by Richard Speight Jr., who is another recurring presence within the Supernatural world. He even directed some episodes of Supernatural down the line. But yeah, that's probably a hallmark episode for me. Pinpoint that is probably one of the more, point out episodes. So, Sam, I guess they decided to have Sam meet other young people like him. Like in the first season, there was, I forgot his name, but Max. There was a Max, and he went psycho. He ended up killing himself. But here we meet two of them. We meet Ava, who sort of gets a vision that Sam is going to die in the episode Hunted. But there's also Andy, who's another episode, and Andy's twin brother or older brother or twin whatever. Doesn't matter, that guy dies anyway. But Andy has the ability to vocally say something, and you'll have it done. He shakes your hand and says something, and you get, like, in one episode, he shakes Dean's hand, and he gets the Impala. That pisses Dean off, of course, because the Impala is his baby, right? And he was actually pretty, I liked him. But then stuff happens at the end of the season that pissed me off. But, yeah, we're also introduced to Gordon Walker, and the boys are warned by Ellen not to be hanging around with him. He's not to be trusted. He's a little rough. Dean doesn't listen, of course. But, yes, and he does eventually come back to kill Sam because he's told by someone, I can assume to be Yellow Eyes, that Sam is going to, or someone Sam is going to, that Sam Winchester must die. And he ends up in jail because of it. And then that's the episode where Ava shows up and say, hey, you're gonna die. She saves life. Then she goes missing. And that picks up later at the end of the season. There's an episode towards the end of the season where Dean wakes up in a world where their mom never died. Jess is still alive. That's Sam's girlfriend. And they're going to get married. The only difference is that their dad died. And I can assume that's because they couldn't get Jeffrey Dean Morgan to come back. So they had him die of cancer. Which is a normal way to die, I guess. But we find out it's just the djinn that are pumping him, killing him from inside, and Sam comes to the rescue. But it's an interesting way to think. You think about what would happen, what could have happened, And like I said, the episode Tall Tales has the boys like at each other's throats because the trickster has messed with them. Oh, the Eric Kripke had gone on record to say that he knew there were some things that weren't ever going to be able to make legitimate, like monsters and stuff, but here there's the alligator in the sewer, aliens, chainsaw-wielding maniacs. They did an episode in season 1 about rednecks, but yeah, and then put it all on the trickster, who gets revealed to be a different character later. So let's get to the season finale, because most of these are just one-offs, really, until we get the season finale, which is in 2 parts. Sam and Dean, they go to a diner. Sam walks in, doesn't come back out. And so now he's lost. So Dean and Bobby try to find him and end up locating him in the most haunted town in the world. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, Sam wakes up in this ghost town with Andy, Ava, and 2 others. Lily and Jake, I believe are their names. And Lily is killed off screen by a ghost or something, we think. It is then later revealed that Ava is actually, that they have been sent there to fight each other to the death, with only one of them surviving and being chosen by Yellow Eyes to do something. Ava is the reigning champion. She's turned evil, I guess, out of nowhere, because apparently this thing turns you evil. I don't know. She kills Lily and then kills Andy. So it's down to her, Jake, and Sam. And I believe Jake kills her. It's down to Jake and Sam, and they're fighting tooth and nail. And Dean and Bobby make it just in time to see Sam killed, stabbed in the back by Jake. Now this is a good point to go back to earlier in the season. An episode that you wouldn't think would be necessary. I mentioned what their dad did, but in one episode, there's an episode about crossroads deals, and that leads into this. Dean goes to the crossroads demon and makes a deal, his soul for Sam being back to life. Now, usually you're supposed to get 10 years, because it's Dean, he gets 1 year. And Sam comes back to life, and Azazel's, damn it, Yellow Eyes' plan is for Jake to take the Colt, the Colt from the previous season, use that as sort of a key that Samuel Colt made, and open the gates of hell. If this happens, Jake is killed by Sam, I think, and so is Yellow Eyes by Dean. And then their dad shows up as a ghost spirit and kind of helps a little bit. And then they close the gate. But other stuff did escape. That's the big thing for season 3, is that all these demons escaped. And so we got to figure out, how to stop them, how to put them back, stuff like that. I think I've always thought that killing, like, the whole thing was to try to track down this yellow-eyed demon. You think that would have been their endgame? It goes further than that, believe me. But you think that would have been, like, the series finale? Sort of. 15 years later, no. But you think it would be? No, it's not. It's actually just the season 2 finale. Which, I remember seeing it and be like, wait, he's dead? He's gone? Already? It's on the end of season 2. What? I remember that. And being shocked. Just like, wow, okay. Okay, alright, you got me. He's gone. Season 2 is like right up there with season 1. I don't think it's as good as season 1, but there are some good parts. By the way, in the season finale, this is one of the things that drags down for me. The roadhouse we've been introduced to is burnt down. Ash, one of the characters from that roadhouse, is killed in the burning. We are told that Ellen and Joel made it out, but we don't see them. And that's it till like the next season. So no roadhouse. You know, Sam goes through an emotional thing with Madison. She turns out to be a werewolf. So once again, no love for him. But yeah, all in all, season 2 is pretty good. I'm gonna give it an A minus because I think it's almost as good as the first season, but not completely. So I think it's A minus for me. So what are your thoughts on season 2 of Supernatural? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one. I couldn't think of anything to say.